There's a reason why God gave Capricorn the highest mountain to climb and the fewest hands to hold while doing it, because only they were meant to carry the secrets. In the great divine blueprint of the universe, every zodiac sign was gifted with its own frequency, its own vibration. But Capricorn was entrusted with something different. Not gifts, not praise, but secrets, sacred ones. Secrets about time, secrets about mastery, secrets about how to survive alone and still build a kingdom with bare hands. Most people won't see it. They'll say Capricorn is too serious, too quiet, too cold. But that's because they've never carried a burden that stretches across lifetimes. You see, Capricorn isn't loud. Capricorn doesn't explain. Capricorn doesn't need applause. Because Capricorn was born remembering what others forget, that this life is not a game, it's a mission. And that mission is not for the faint-hearted. It's for those who can endure winters without fire. It's for those who can delay pleasure, outlast storms, and still walk forward when the world gives no applause. Capricorn was given 12 divine secrets, not to boast about, but to live out. They're not just strengths, they're spiritual codes, blueprints from the divine, mysteries wrapped in silence. These secrets don't glitter, they don't scream for attention. They unfold in pressure, in stillness, in sacrifice. And only those who walk the narrow road, the Capricorn road, will ever truly understand what they mean. Today, we begin to reveal them, not all at once, not recklessly, but with reverence. Because these aren't just traits, these are soul-forged truths that have been passed down through Capricorn souls for centuries. And once you hear them, you'll never look at yourself or the Capricorns in your life the same way again. In this video, we reveal the 12 sacred secrets that God only entrusted to Capricorn. Secrets of unbreakable patience, silent leadership, strategic genius, spiritual timekeeping, loyalty that outlives betrayal, and more. But before we dive in, let me say this clearly. You are not here by accident. If you're watching this, there is something inside of you, Capricorn or not, that's being called higher. You're being reminded that success isn't random, that legacy is not luck. Capricorn energy is not about fame, it's about foundation. And these 12 secrets are the hidden pillars holding up that foundation, even when no one else sees them. So take a breath, settle into your chair, because this isn't entertainment, this is initiation. If you've ever felt misunderstood, if you've ever wondered why your path is lonelier, harder, longer, then maybe it's because you weren't meant to walk the easy road. Maybe you were chosen to carry something higher, something heavier, something holy. Let's uncover the 12 sacred secrets that only Capricorn was trusted to carry. Let's begin. Secret number 1, the secret of iron resolve. When God needs a soul who won't break, he sends a Capricorn. Let's begin with the secret that rests at the very core of every Capricorn soul, iron resolve. This isn't willpower, this isn't stubbornness, this is something older, deeper, sacred. It's the ability to keep walking through the desert, long after the water runs out. While most people need signs, motivation, support, or praise to keep going, Capricorn keeps going in silence, not because it's easy, not because it's fun, but because they know. They were born to finish what others never started. This resolve doesn't make them loud, it makes them dangerous in the best possible way. Dangerous to mediocrity, dangerous to excuses, dangerous to the forces that tell them to give up. You'll never see a Capricorn make a dramatic exit. They don't need drama. They simply endure, quietly, unshakably, until what they built becomes undeniable. Think about it. How many times have you seen people give up halfway through a dream? Now think about Capricorn. They might move slowly, they might disappear for a season, but when they return, they're 10 steps ahead because they never stopped climbing. Not for a second. That's iron resolve. It's not emotional, it's not impulsive, it's calibrated, patient, relentless. Let's take a real-world example. LeBron James, one of the most iconic Capricorns of our time. Do you remember how much criticism he faced early in his career? They said he was overhyped, that he'd never win a championship, that he didn't have the killer instinct. But what did he do? Did he lash out on social media? Did he argue with the critics? No. He trained. He studied the game. He transformed his body. He returned stronger, smarter, and more refined. He didn't just win championships. He rewrote what longevity and excellence look like in modern sports. And he did it the Capricorn way, through relentless focus and unshakable discipline. That's what makes iron resolve so mysterious. It doesn't always look impressive at first, but over time it becomes indestructible. While others chase quick wins, Capricorn is building stone by stone, not to impress, but to outlast. That's why so many Capricorns become successful later in life, because their success isn't luck, it's layered with legacy. But here's the spiritual truth no one talks about. Iron resolve is often forged through loneliness. Capricorns rarely get cheered for their efforts. They don't often hear, "Thank you," or "I see you," or "You're doing enough." And yet, they keep going. Because deep down, Capricorn knows, my mission is greater than my mood. My purpose is bigger than their approval. They know they were not sent here to be liked. They were sent here to build what others depend on, even if no one claps for them while they build it. In ancient spiritual texts, we see this archetype appear again and again. The builder, the climber, the disciplined disciple. And in the Bible, Nehemiah is the perfect reflection of this Capricorn energy. Nehemiah was tasked with rebuilding the broken walls of Jerusalem, surrounded by enemies, mocked by the crowds, doubted even by his own people. But he didn't lash out. He didn't collapse. He said simply, "The God of heaven will give us success. We, his servants, will start rebuildings." Nehemiah 2:20. And brick by brick, he restored the sacred, just like Capricorn. So what's the lesson here? It's this. Iron resolve isn't about brute strength. It's about sacred faith in your path. Capricorn's resolve is proof that you don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to rush. You just have to keep moving, even when no one is watching, even when it hurts, even when you're tired. Because one day, that silent mountain you've been climbing, it becomes the foundation others build their dreams on. Reflection. For the viewer, Capricorn, have you honored the secret within you lately? Or have you been judging yourself for not moving fast enough, not being flashy enough? Let me remind you, you weren't meant to move fast. You were meant to move forward without stopping. The world needs your consistency, your patience, your sacred silence. So don't compare your path to those who sprint and burn out. You were built to endure, and that, Capricorn, is your first and most dangerous secret. Secret number 2, the secret of sacred discipline. What others call sacrifice, Capricorn calls structure. If resolve is the fuel that pushes Capricorn forward, then discipline is the vessel that holds that fire steady. It's not the kind of discipline that others use to impress or control. No, for Capricorn, discipline is sacred. It's their devotional practice. It's how they worship the divine, through structure, routine, and commitment. To a Capricorn, order is not boring, it is holy. While others need constant stimulation, Capricorn thrives in repetition. Not because they lack imagination, but because they understand that consistency builds empires. The world may romanticize overnight success, but Capricorn knows that nothing real is built quickly. They are the ones who wake up early even when no one's watching, who show up every day even when no one claps, who commit without condition. You want to see Capricorn's sacred discipline in action? Look at someone like Michelle Obama, a proud Capricorn. Throughout her career, as a lawyer, first lady, author, and mother, she has never relied on chaos, impulse, or applause to guide her. She speaks about waking up at dawn to exercise because it sets the tone for her day, not because it's glamorous, but because it's grounding. She sets boundaries, honors her calendar, protects her energy. She chooses discipline, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. That's not control, that's clarity, that's Capricorn. But here's what most people get wrong. They think discipline is about punishment, that it's about denying yourself joy or flexibility. But in Capricorn's world, discipline is a form of spiritual alignment. It is the path they use to stay close to their purpose, to the reason their soul came here in the first place. This secret is not obvious. It hides in the daily habits, the small choices, the quiet sacrifices. Capricorn doesn't brag about their discipline, they live it. And over time, that daily discipline becomes destiny. In the New Testament, the Apostle Paul captured this energy perfectly when he wrote, "Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one receives the prize? So run that you may obtain it. Every athlete exercises self-control in all things." 1 Corinthians 9:24-25. Capricorn lives like that athlete, training in silence, practicing restraint, making choices that align with their greater mission, even when it's not easy, even when it's not fun. Because they understand something sacred. Your habits shape your future, and your future is your offering to the world. Think about it. Who do you trust more? The person who's full of passion one day and disappears the next? Or the one who quietly shows up day after day, doing what they said they would? Capricorn doesn't just promise. Capricorn performs with precision, with integrity, with no need for applause. That's the power of sacred discipline. It's not glamorous, it's not viral, but it's unstoppable. And yet, here's the catch. Sacred discipline often comes at a price. Capricorn may miss out on spontaneity, adventure, even connection. They are often misunderstood as too rigid, too serious, too robotic. But they're not any of those things. They are simply devoted to something bigger than the moment. In a world addicted to shortcuts, Capricorn takes the stairs. In a world obsessed with immediate results, Capricorn plans for 10 years from now. Because Capricorn doesn't live for dopamine, they live for legacy. Reflection for the viewer. Capricorn, have you honored your sacred structure? Or have you allowed others to shame you for your self-discipline? Let me tell you something no one else will. Your routines are holy. Your standards are spiritual. Your calendar is your altar. Don't let a chaotic world make you feel guilty for being grounded. They may laugh now, but they'll beg you for stability later. Your discipline isn't about controlling your life. It's about creating one that honors your soul. So if you're feeling tired, Capricorn, if you're wondering whether the structure you've built is even worth it, let me say this with absolute clarity. Yes, it is. Because while others wander in confusion, you are building cathedrals with your time. That's not boring. That's divine. That's your secret. Secret number 3, the secret of silent leadership. Some lead with speeches. Capricorn leads with silence and results. Leadership is often misunderstood. People imagine a leader as someone on stage, commanding attention, issuing orders, soaking in the spotlight. But real leadership, the kind that changes lives, it doesn't come from volume. It comes from presence. Capricorn doesn't ask for the title of leader. They become one through action, through consistency, through integrity. And that is the third sacred secret God entrusted to Capricorn, silent leadership. In a world where people are shouting to be seen, Capricorn stands apart, calm, composed, observant. They don't lead to be followed. They lead because they see a need. When chaos erupts, when everyone else is panicking, guess who people turn to? The Capricorn. Not because they said the most, but because they said the least and did the most. You've seen it. In workplaces, in families, in friend groups. There's always that one person who quietly holds it all together, who notices the little things, who doesn't complain, who stays calm under pressure. And when things fall apart, they're already 3 steps ahead with a plan. That person is often a Capricorn. Why? Because they don't need control. They carry responsibility like a sacred vow. Let's take a real-life example. Martin Luther King Jr., a Capricorn who changed the course of American history. Yes, he gave speeches. Yes, he was visible. But what most people forget is this. His leadership wasn't just about words. It was about endurance, vision, strategy, faith. He didn't scream for attention. He stood still in the storm, and the world listened. He led not from ego, but from moral responsibility. That's Capricorn. They don't lead for applause. They lead because no one else is willing to carry the burden properly. But here's what makes this secret sacred. Capricorn's leadership doesn't dominate, it stabilizes. They don't try to overpower you. They want to organize you, to make sure everyone has a role, to keep the mission moving, efficiently, fairly, consistently. They don't need the title boss. They already walk like one. Spiritually speaking, Capricorn leadership mirrors the energy of Moses in the Bible. Moses never wanted to lead, he doubted himself. But when God called him to deliver his people from bondage, he obeyed. And when things got hard, he didn't quit. He didn't blame. He climbed mountains, literally, to receive wisdom from above. He bore the weight of his people's doubt, fear, and rebellion. Not because he was the loudest, but because he was the most grounded. That's the Capricorn archetype. Not flashy, but chosen. Not seeking praise, just carrying purpose. But let's not sugarcoat it. Silent leadership is lonely. Capricorns often feel invisible, even when they're holding everything together. They're the ones staying late at work, checking on everyone else, carrying the emotional and logistical load, and still wondering, do they even notice what I do? Here's the truth, Capricorn. They may not say it, but without you, it would all fall apart. Your calm stabilizes others. Your structure gives others space. Your presence is a lighthouse, silent, steady, saving lives in the dark. Reflection for the viewer. Have you embraced your leadership, Capricorn? Or have you been hiding it because no one thanked you for it? Let me remind you, leadership isn't about being seen, it's about seeing clearly. And you, Capricorn, see farther than most. You understand that real leaders don't push people around, they pull people forward. With quiet strength, with dignity, with wisdom earned through storms. So the next time you feel unseen in your leadership, the next time you wonder why others lean on you but never uplift you, remember this: God chose you not to impress, but to anchor. You are the one who remains calm when others panic, who brings order when chaos erupts, who doesn't just react, but responds with power and clarity. That is not weakness. That is not passive. That is the rarest kind of leadership. It is sacred, it is silent, and it is yours. Secret number 4, the secret of strategic vision. Capricorn doesn't just plan for the next step. They see the mountain before they take the first breath. While many people live in the moment, make impulsive decisions, or chase short-term satisfaction, Capricorn operates on a very different frequency. They are not thinking about today's rewards. They are calculating tomorrow's results, next month, next year, even the next decade. This is their 4th sacred secret, strategic vision. Capricorn doesn't move just to move. They move with purpose. They don't just react to life. They architect it, piece by piece, silently, intelligently. To the outside world, Capricorn might appear slow, reserved, or overly cautious. But make no mistake, Capricorn is always planning. They're always 10 moves ahead, mapping the terrain, anticipating challenges, scanning for weak points in the system. You may think they're quiet, you may think they're passive, but Capricorn is storing information, crafting contingency plans, preparing for every possible outcome. That's not control, that's wisdom. Let's look at an example from real life. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, a Capricorn with razor-sharp strategic vision. Long before online shopping was mainstream, Bezos was already preparing for global logistics, server capacity, and product scaling. He didn't just build a business, he engineered an ecosystem. People laughed, they said it wouldn't last, but he saw something they didn't: the future. That's the Capricorn mind, seeing the destination when everyone else is still debating directions. But what makes Capricorn's vision so mysterious is this: they rarely reveal it. You won't hear them talking about their 5-year plan at every dinner party. They don't overshare. They don't oversell. Because they don't need to. They're not building for validation. They're building for longevity. In the ancient world, this archetype was revered. In the story of Joseph in the Bible, we see a clear Capricorn parallel: sold into slavery, wrongfully imprisoned, forgotten. But Joseph didn't waste time blaming the world. He observed, he interpreted, he planned. And when Pharaoh had a dream about a coming famine, Joseph was the only one who could explain it, and more importantly, provide a strategic plan to survive it. Let Pharaoh appoint commissioners over the land and collect a fifth of the harvest during the 7 years of abundance. Genesis 41:34. Joseph's vision saved not only Egypt, but his family and legacy. Capricorn carries this same prophetic practicality. They don't just dream, they design. But strategic vision comes with challenges. Capricorns often feel frustrated with others who don't see what they see. They may feel impatient with people who act recklessly or ignore the long-term consequences of their actions. Sometimes they're called controlling or rigid. But what others see as control is actually Capricorn's way of protecting the vision. Because when you're the only one seeing the whole chessboard, you carry the weight of every single piece. Here's what many overlook. Capricorn's strategy isn't just about personal gain, it's about stability for others. They plan not only for themselves, but for their family, their partners, their teams, their legacy. They understand that poor planning leads to pain, so they build frameworks, schedules, investments, not for ego, but for protection. Capricorn doesn't just see the future, they secure it. Reflection for the viewer. Capricorn, are you honoring your ability to see farther than others? Or have you been shrinking your vision to fit other people's comfort? Let me remind you, your vision is a responsibility. You were given this clarity for a reason. Others may not understand your timing, but that's because they're not meant to carry what you carry. Don't abandon the blueprint just because others can't see the construction site. So the next time you're tempted to doubt yourself, to question your slow progress, to second-guess your strategy, remember this: you're not building a moment, you're building a movement, a foundation, a system, a legacy. And when the dust settles and all the noise fades, the world will turn to you because you were the one who planned for what comes after. That is your secret, and it is more powerful than you know. Secret number 5, the secret of enduring patience. The world moves fast. Capricorn waits and wins. In a society addicted to speed, instant results, and overnight success, patience is often dismissed as weakness. But Capricorn carries a patience that is not passive, not lazy, not naive. It is sacred, intentional, strategic. This is the 5th secret: enduring patience. And make no mistake, it is a spiritual superpower. Capricorn doesn't chase every shiny object. They don't rush decisions, force outcomes, or crumble under delay. Because deep in their soul, Capricorn understands what's meant to last takes time. True growth is layered, and anything that blooms too fast often dies just as quickly. Where others demand urgency, Capricorn chooses alignment. Where others panic during delay, Capricorn finds power in stillness. Because Capricorn knows, delays are not denials, they are refinements. You may look at a Capricorn and wonder, how are they so calm when everything's falling apart? How can they stay the course when the reward feels so far away? The answer? Because they were never chasing the quick win. They were cultivating something deeper, something that endures, something that, once it arrives, doesn't slip through their fingers. Think about the oak tree. It doesn't shoot up like a weed. It spends years strengthening its roots before it ever reaches into the sky. That is Capricorn energy. Their success may arrive slowly, but once it arrives, it cannot be shaken. And that's the secret. Let's take a modern example. Denzel Washington, a Capricorn icon known for his talent and wisdom. Unlike many who burn bright and fade, Denzel took the slow road, mastering theater before Hollywood, building a powerful legacy over decades. He once said, "Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship." That is Capricorn patience in motion, enduring the hard road to walk the right one. But this sacred patience can be misunderstood. People often misjudge Capricorns as boring, slow, overly cautious. But they're not slow. They're deliberate. And that's the difference between those who peak early and those who last. In the story of Job, we see the ultimate metaphor for Capricorn's patience. Job lost everything: wealth, family, health. But he didn't rage, he didn't abandon his soul. He waited, not in weakness, but in conviction. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? Job 2:10. Capricorn carries that same spiritual backbone, the ability to withstand hardship without abandoning the mission. That's not apathy, that's strength, that's not indifference, that's spiritual discipline. Enduring patience isn't about sitting still, it's about working in silence while trusting divine timing. It's about doing your part and releasing what you cannot control. And here's the paradox: while the world rushes toward what it wants, Capricorn aligns with what they've earned. Because rushing risks ruin, but Capricorn waits. And when they move in full power. Reflection for the viewer. Capricorn, have you honored your patience lately? Or have you been shamed into thinking you're too slow, too quiet, too careful? Let me remind you, your patience is not a flaw. It's a shield, a strategy, a sacred force, because while everyone else is sprinting, you're building something that will still be standing 30 years from now. So the next time someone calls you slow, or questions your timing, or mocks your quiet consistency, smile, because you know something they don't. You're not behind. You're just building something they can't yet imagine. You are not late. You are right on universal time. And that, Capricorn, is your fifth and most unshakable secret. Secret number 6, the secret of financial alchemy. While others chase money, Capricorn becomes the kind of soul money chases. Of all the zodiac signs, Capricorn has the most mysterious relationship with wealth. They are not materialistic in the shallow sense. They don't chase trends, show off possessions, or measure their worth in dollar signs. But here's the paradox. Capricorns often become the financial anchors of their families, businesses, or entire communities. Why? Because they don't just handle money, they transmute it. This is their 6th sacred secret, financial alchemy. Capricorn understands something most people never figure out. Wealth isn't what you flash, it's what you build. Quietly, slowly, and strategically. While others blow through paychecks on ego and impulse, Capricorn is budgeting, investing, and planning. Not because they fear poverty, but because they respect provision. Capricorns are not reckless with money. They are guardians of value. They know that money is energy, and when treated with wisdom, it multiplies. They understand the power of delayed gratification. They make sacrifices now so they, and their loved ones, can live with freedom later. This isn't frugality, it's future-forward thinking. Let's look at a modern Capricorn example. Michelle Yeoh, Golden Globe-winning actress and producer. For decades, she worked diligently behind the scenes, taking on complex roles, managing her career with grace and restraint. She didn't rush into the spotlight. She let her craft and her value speak for itself. Now, in her 60s, she's commanding global respect, multi-million-dollar deals, and cultural influence across continents. That's financial alchemy in motion. Turn discipline into legacy. Turn patience into prosperity. But here's the deeper truth. Capricorns don't just manage money well, they often carry the financial karma of their lineage. They're the ones who break generational cycles, who go without so future generations don't have to, who become the financial parent even when they're still figuring it out themselves. They may not say it aloud, but they carry a sacred responsibility to create security for others. And this burden? They carry it with pride, quiet pride, because they know, if not me, then who? In the Bible, Jesus tells the parable of the talents, where servants are given different sums of money. 2 invest wisely and are praised. 1 buries his talent in fear and is chastised. Capricorn doesn't bury the gift, they nurture it, multiply it. They understand that money is not a sin, misalignment is. For Capricorn, financial mastery is not about greed, it's about stewardship, about taking what they're given and creating something stronger, wiser, and more stable. That's alchemy. Capricorns also know this. True wealth is not about having more, it's about needing less. They don't get distracted by status games. They don't buy to impress. They invest to empower themselves, their dreams, and the people they care about. Even when they're not rich, they act like future wealth is inevitable. Why? Because they've already made the hardest decision of all, to live with purpose, not pressure. Reflection for the viewer. Capricorn, are you owning your role as a financial alchemist? Or are you letting scarcity or guilt block your natural abundance? Let me tell you something they won't teach in school. Money respects order. Wealth flows toward those who prepare for it. And you, Capricorn, were born with the blueprint. You don't have to chase, you just have to align. And everything you need will eventually find you. So the next time you feel behind financially, or like your careful planning isn't exciting enough, remember this: you're not just managing money, you're healing your lineage. You're planting trees you may never sit under. You're doing spiritual work through practical wisdom. And that is the sacred art of Capricorn's financial alchemy. You may not wear a crown, but you're building a kingdom. $1, one decision, one generation at a time. Secret number 7. The secret of relentless ambition. Capricorn doesn't want the spotlight, they want the summit. Ambition has been distorted in today's world. To some, it looks like greed. To others, it's ego. But in Capricorn's hands, ambition is neither. It's sacred, it's personal, it's relentless. This is the 7th secret, the secret of relentless ambition. Capricorn doesn't dream for the sake of appearances. They don't climb to be seen. They climb because something deep within them whispers, there's more. Not more in the sense of luxury, but more in the sense of fulfilling what they were sent here to do. Ambition, for Capricorn, is not driven by applause. It's fueled by alignment, by that unshakable knowing that they were born to create something that lasts beyond them. They're not racing against others. They're racing against their own potential. And the truth is, it's not even a race. It's a pilgrimage, a sacred journey toward the highest version of themselves. That's why when a Capricorn sets a goal, they don't just aim for it. They restructure their entire life around it. Their habits, their time, their relationships. They build around the vision, not around comfort. Let's look at a living example. Dolly Parton, a Capricorn with ambition that never needed permission, born in poverty, doubted by many. She could have settled for one-hit fame, but she didn't. She became a singer, a songwriter, a businesswoman, a philanthropist, and a global icon. Her ambition? To lift her people, to educate children, to create her own path in a male-dominated industry without losing her grace or humor. That is Capricorn ambition. Not loud, not chaotic, but quietly world-changing. And here's the mystery most people don't understand. Capricorn doesn't want everything. They want what's theirs. They don't want to be famous just to be seen. They want to be effective. They want to finish the mission. They want to build something that will outlive them. And yes, that means they push hard, sometimes too hard, sometimes to the point of exhaustion. But behind that push is not vanity, it's purpose. In the scriptures, King David offers a perfect Capricorn mirror. As a boy, he wasn't chosen for his looks, status, or strength, but God saw his heart, his discipline, his vision, his courage. And over time, that shepherd boy became king, not by shortcut, not by manipulation, but by relentless faith in a calling greater than himself. The Lord doesn't look at what people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16-7. Capricorns carry this essence. Their ambition comes from within. It is soul-assigned. And yet, ambition can feel isolating. Capricorns often feel misunderstood. People accuse them of being too serious, too work-focused, or too obsessed with success. But no one sees the inner fire that refuses to let them settle. No one sees the nights they lie awake asking, "Am I doing enough?" Here's what they need to hear. Your ambition is not the problem. Your vision is valid and your path is holy. Don't water yourself down to make others comfortable. You were not born to fit in. You were born to build upward. Reflection for the viewer. Capricorn, has your ambition been judged lately? Have you been trying to slow down just to keep others from feeling uncomfortable? Let me remind you, your ambition is not a burden, it's a compass. It's how your soul tells you there is more to build, there is more to give, there is more of you waiting to be realized. Don't stop climbing, don't shrink the mountain. Just keep going, one steady step at a time. Because one day you'll look back and realize you weren't just chasing success, you were chasing fulfillment. That is your secret, and it's unbreakable. Secret number 8, the secret of soul-level resilience. Life breaks many, but Capricorn bends and then builds with the pieces. Some people survive storms. Capricorn becomes the storm's architect. There's something different about the way Capricorn handles pain, setbacks, betrayal, or failure. They don't panic, they don't crumble, they absorb the blow and somehow rise stronger. This is their 8th sacred secret, soul-level resilience. This resilience is not the kind found in self-help books. It's not a feel-good Instagram quote. It's not the shallow kind of bounce-back energy that comes with hashtags and hustle. This resilience is ancestral. It's etched into Capricorn's bones. It comes from lifetimes of being tested and choosing not just to survive, but to evolve. Others break when their plans fall apart. Capricorn, they study the wreckage, they find the patterns shown, they rebuild better, because they know something most people forget. The lesson is hidden inside the loss. Capricorns don't fear failure because they don't view it as final. They see it as a chapter, not the end of the story. And when they're knocked down, they don't complain. They quietly calculate the next move. Let's look at a real-life example. John Legend, singer, producer, activist, and Capricorn. He was rejected by multiple record labels before Kanye West signed him. He had songs go unnoticed. He had industry insiders say he wasn't mainstream enough. But he didn't quit. He sharpened his craft. He stayed consistent. He kept showing up. And now, he's one of the few artists who's won an EGOT, an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. That's not luck. That's Capricorn resilience in motion. But this resilience often comes at a personal cost. People assume Capricorns are cold because they don't fall apart emotionally. But what they don't see is the internal battle, the pain Capricorn processes in silence. Capricorns don't want pity, they want peace. And they know that true peace doesn't come from pretending everything is okay. It comes from confronting the wound and transmuting it into wisdom. In the Bible, few stories capture this better than the life of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, thrown into prison, forgotten, misused, isolated. Yet Joseph did not curse his fate. He allowed the suffering to shape him, and in time he rose, not just to survive, but to save nations. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Genesis 50:20. Capricorn energy holds that same truth. The betrayal didn't break you, it refined you. Soul-level resilience means Capricorn doesn't need others to believe in them. They believe in themselves when the world goes silent. They find strength not in what they own, but in who they are becoming. And that is terrifying to people who only know how to perform, not transform. Because Capricorn doesn't wear their wounds for sympathy, they wear them like armor forged in fire. Reflection for the viewer. Capricorn, when was the last time you honored your own survival? Have you been downplaying your ability to keep going when others would have collapsed? Let me remind you, you're not strong because you have no pain. You're strong because you kept walking with pain on your back and still reached higher ground. Most people avoid hard things. You've lived through them, and instead of letting it define you, you let it refine you. That's not just strength, that's spiritual resilience. So the next time someone calls you too serious, or wonders why you don't share your struggles more publicly, smile. Because you know something they don't. You already walked through hell and came back with blueprints. And now, you're building heaven out of the ashes. That is the 8th secret, and it lives deep in your bones. Secret number 9, the secret of practical genius. While others chase brilliance, Capricorn quietly applies it. The world tends to define genius by complexity, flashes of inspiration, wild innovation, grand theories. But Capricorn brings a different kind of genius, one that doesn't just dream, it delivers. This is the ninth sacred secret, practical genius. Capricorn doesn't invent to impress. They engineer solutions that actually work. They take the overwhelming and make it understandable. They take the messy and make it manageable. And they do it without noise, without ego. Capricorn's genius is grounded. It's rooted in the real world. While others are floating in possibilities, Capricorn is asking, what's the timeline? What's the structure? How do we execute? They're the ones who know how to turn a concept into a system, how to move from great idea to consistent results. And that's what separates them from the dreamers. Because Capricorn is not just visionary, they are builders of reality. Let's take a real-world Capricorn example. Katie Couric, groundbreaking journalist, producer, and advocate. She didn't just sit in a news chair, she transformed how stories were told. From hard-hitting investigative work to creating her own media company, Katie used intelligence, clarity, and strategy to reshape journalism, especially for women. She wasn't flashy, she was efficient, reliable, strategic. That's Capricorn genius at work. What makes Capricorn's mind so powerful is not the speed of their thoughts, but the structure of their thinkings. They don't get overwhelmed by complex problems, they break them down into pieces. They organize, they prioritize, they stabilize, they turn chaos into clarity, and usually do it without asking for help. This is also why Capricorns thrive in environments others collapse in. Corporate chaos, family crisis, startup disarray, financial storms, they stay grounded, they find the formula, they fix the broken process while others are still complaining. Because Capricorn's genius isn't theoretical, it's applicable, repeatable, scalable. The Bible offers a perfect mirror of this energy in Nehemiah, the builder of Jerusalem's broken walls. When others said, it's too much, too damaged, too late, Nehemiah didn't waste time on panic. He created a plan, organized the workers, divided the responsibilities, secured protection, and rebuilt a destroyed city in 52 days. So the wall was completed in 52 days. Nehemiah 6:15. That's not just faith, that's practical genius in motion. Capricorn energy is the same. Vision paired with execution. Faith paired with frameworks. Heart paired with hands. But here's the challenge. Because Capricorns make it look easy, their genius is often overlooked. People assume they're just hard workers or detail-oriented. They don't always realize it's not just labor, it's legacy-level intelligence. Capricorn doesn't just do things, they optimize, they improve, they refine, and they don't stop until the system is stronger than before. Reflection for the viewer. Capricorn, have you been hiding your genius behind the label of being responsible? Have you mistaken your brilliance for just doing your job? Let me tell you something the world rarely says. Your mind isn't just capable, it's extraordinary. Because it knows how to turn complexity into progress. That is genius, and it deserves to be recognized, even if you never ask for recognition. So the next time you build something better, fix something no one else noticed, organize what felt impossible. Pause. And remind yourself, you didn't just solve a problem, you translated genius into form, and you did it without fanfare. That is the Capricorn way. That is the ninth secret, and the world wouldn't function without it. Secret number 10, the secret of divine timing. Capricorn doesn't follow the clock, they follow the call. In a world obsessed with fast results, constant deadlines, and artificial urgency, Capricorn moves to a different rhythm. They are not slow, they are not procrastinators, they are synchronized with something greater than time. This is the 10th sacred secret, the secret of divine timing. Capricorn's relationship with time is unique. They were born under the rulership of Saturn, the planet of time, karma, and structure, which means they feel time differently, they experience delay differently, they respect process differently. While others chase instant gratification, Capricorn plays the long game. They're not rushing because they understand this truth. The right thing at the wrong time is still the wrong thing. Capricorn has a gift for waiting, not passively, but actively. They prepare in silence, they build quietly, They take small, intentional steps toward the vision, knowing that when the moment is right, everything will align. It may look like they're behind, but they are simply in alignment with divine order. Let's take a powerful modern example, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Capricorn, creator of Hamilton. He spent nearly a decade writing that musical. During that time, most people didn't understand what he was building. The world wasn't ready yet, but he didn't rush it. He didn't cave to pressure. He waited. He refined. And when it finally debuted, the world exploded with recognition. That wasn't just talent, that was timing, divine, strategic, perfectly aligned. Capricorns often live like this, appearing late bloomers to society, but they aren't late. They are simply growing at soul speed, not society speed, because they know what no one else is willing to admit. If you plant a seed and dig it up every day to check its progress, it will never grow. Capricorn plants deeply, waters slowly, trusts patiently. In the Bible, this sacred timing is reflected in the story of Abraham and Sarah. God promised them a child, but the promise didn't come quickly. They waited through years of confusion, hope, and even doubt. And when the time finally came, not when they were young, but when it seemed too late, Isaac was born, a child of covenant. Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time I will return to you. Genesis 18:14. Capricorns carry this same trust. They believe in appointed time, not just convenient time. They know that what is meant for them won't miss them, even if it's delayed. But this divine patience is often misunderstood. People assume they're indecisive, that they're slow to act, that they miss opportunities. What they don't see is that Capricorn has already seen the whole map and chosen the highest path, not the fastest one. They don't move just to keep up. They move when it matters. Reflection for the viewer. Capricorn, have you ever been criticized for your timing? Have others tried to rush you, not understanding your deep sense of pacing? Let me say this clearly. You are not behind. You are not late. You are operating on sacred timing. The seasons of your life are not determined by comparison. They are guided by something divine, ancient, and wise. And when your moment comes, you don't just arrive. You arrive ready. So the next time someone says you're too slow or that your dreams are taking too long, smile. Because you know something they don't. Delay is not denial. It is divine calibration. And when your moment comes, it won't just be success, it will be destiny. That is the 10th secret, and it cannot be rushed. Secret number 11, the secret of loyal devotion. Capricorn doesn't just commit, they covenant. In an age of fleeting attachments and shallow loyalty, Capricorn moves with a sacred stillness. They don't give their loyalty easily, but once they do, it is unchanging, enduring, fierce. This is the 11th sacred secret, loyal devotion. Capricorn doesn't just stay because it's convenient. They stay because it's right, because something deep in their soul made a silent vow, and Capricorns don't break vows. They are loyal not for approval, not for reward, but because integrity is their religion. They show up, they stay late, they hold on when others let go. And they do it not because they have to, but because they promised to. In a world of temporary connections, Capricorn is a rare soul who remembers that trust is built over time. And once built, it must be guarded like gold. Whether it's friendship, partnership, family, or career, Capricorn commits with their whole being. And when storms come, they don't run. They brace, they carry, they stand guard. Take a real-world Capricorn example. Diane Keaton, actress, artist, and fiercely loyal creative force. She's known not just for her talent, but for the consistency of her collaborations, for her unwavering friendships, for staying true to her voice, her values, her vision, even when the industry shifted around her. She once said, "You can't be loyal unless you're honest, and you can't be honest unless you know who you are." That's Capricorn wisdom. Loyalty begins within. But here's what most people miss. Capricorn's loyalty isn't blind, it's earned, carefully, quietly, and over time. But once earned, it is unshakable. And that's why betrayal hits Capricorn so deeply, not because they're weak, but because they never gave their trust lightly. And when it's broken, it's not just a wound, it's a spiritual fracture. Still, even in pain, Capricorn rarely retaliates with rage. They respond with distance, dignity, and detachment, because loyalty, once violated, is not easily repaired. In the Bible, the story of Ruth captures this secret beautifully. After losing her husband, Ruth could have returned to her old life, but she chose devotion. She chose to stay by Naomi's side, to walk with her, to serve her, to adopt her people and her God as her own. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Ruth 1:16. This wasn't romantic loyalty, it was spiritual allegiance. And Capricorn carries this same sacred energy. Capricorn's devotion is quiet but fierce. They won't flood you with compliments or perform affection for show, but they'll remember your birthday, fix your flat tire, cover for you when no one else will, and never mention it again, because their love isn't loud, it's loyal. Reflection for the viewer. Capricorn, have you ever been taken for granted because of your quiet loyalty? Have you ever stayed too long in places that no longer honored you, simply because you once said yes? Let me say this to your soul. Your loyalty is sacred, but it is not owed to those who misuse it. You are allowed to withdraw your loyalty from what no longer aligns. You are allowed to stay true to your word and true to your worth. So, the next time someone underestimates your loyalty or treats it like a weakness, remember this: loyalty is not something you give, it is something you become. You are not just dependable, you are devotional. You are not just consistent, you are covenantal. That is the 11th secret. And it is why people feel safest in your presence, even if they never say it aloud. Secret number 12, the secret of sacred solitude. Capricorn walks alone, not because they're unloved, but because they were born to hear what others miss in the silence. Capricorns have a strange, almost mystical relationship with aloneness. They are not loners in the traditional sense. They love deeply, work tirelessly for those they care about, and often carry the emotional weight of entire families. But beneath all of that, Capricorn has a hidden sanctuary, a place no one can enter, their solitude. This is the 12th and final sacred secret, the secret of sacred solitude. While others fear being alone, Capricorn understands its power. It's not isolation, it's intention. Capricorn doesn't need the crowd to know who they are. They don't need constant validation to feel anchored. They don't fear the silence. They return to it, because it's in the silence where their soul sharpens. This solitude is where their ideas are born, where their vision is refined, where their strength is restored. It's where they commune with God, with destiny, with discipline. Others may interpret their quiet as coldness, their distance as rejection. But what they don't realize is Capricorn withdraws not to escape people, but to realign with purpose. Let's take a living example, David Bowie, one of the most innovative Capricorn artists in history. Despite his fame, Bowie often retreated from public life to reflect, reinvent, and create without distraction. His brilliance didn't come from constant attention. It came from sacred solitude. He didn't rush to please the world. He stepped away, listened inward, and then returned with something timeless. That is the Capricorn way. That is the Capricorn mystery. Solitude isn't just a habit for Capricorn. It's a spiritual practice. It's where they sort through what matters and what doesn't. It's how they hear the whispers of the next step before anyone else even realizes they've paused. And yes, it can be lonely, painfully lonely at times. But Capricorn doesn't run from that pain. They allow it to refine them, to clarify what they stand for, to reconnect them with their mission, not the noise of the world. The Bible offers a perfect mirror in the life of Jesus. Before every great act of public ministry, he withdrew. To the wilderness, to the mountains, to the silence. He didn't need the crowd to know his power. He needed solitude to remember it. Very early in the morning, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Mark 1:35. Capricorn follows this same rhythm: retreat, reflect, return. And that's the paradox. Capricorn may seem disconnected, but they are deeply spiritually present. They may seem unavailable, but their heart is watching everything, quietly, carefully, consciously. They may love you more than you know. They just show it in how they protect their center, not how loudly they speak. Reflection for the viewer. Capricorn, have you been judged for being too private, too quiet, too withdrawn? Have others mistaken your solitude for sadness, not strength? Let me say this to your soul. You are not alone because you are broken. You are alone because you are becoming. You are not distant. You are discerning. Your solitude is not emptiness. It is sacred ground where your soul prepares for what the world is not yet ready for. So the next time the world demands your constant presence or guilt trips you for stepping back, remember this. You don't owe your energy to everyone. You owe your alignment to your mission. And when you return from that sacred solitude, you don't just bring back answers. You bring back clarity, power, and peace. That is the final secret. And it may be your most powerful one of all. Final reflection. Why God entrusted these 12 secrets to Capricorn. There's a reason these 12 sacred secrets weren't handed to just anyone. They weren't given to the loudest, the flashiest, the most dramatic. They were given to Capricorn because Capricorn has the strength to carry what others cannot even see. In the great cosmic order, God chooses vessels, not just voices. And Capricorn was chosen because of one thing: the ability to endure silence without losing purpose, the ability to carry power without chasing attention. Let's remind ourselves what these 12 secrets were, not as a checklist, but as a divine blueprint. 1. The secret of timeless discipline. 2. The secret of silent perception. 3. The secret of spiritual authority. 4. The secret of emotional restraint. 5. The secret of unshakable boundaries. The secret of divine strategy. 7. The secret of endurance beyond ego. The secret of soul-level resilience. The secret of practical genius. 10. The secret of divine timing. 11. The secret of loyal devotion. 12. The secret of sacred solitude. These are not talents you learn in a classroom. These are soul codes, activated through hardship, silence, betrayal, and quiet victories. Capricorn, you were never meant to be understood by the crowd. You were built for the mountain. And the mountain is not a place of applause. It is a place of purpose. The world often misunderstands you, but the divine doesn't. The divine entrusted you with the kind of wisdom that takes decades to bloom and a lifetime to master. Because God knew something others didn't. Capricorn will not waste the sacred. You will carry it carefully. You will protect it fiercely. You will share it only when it's ready to transform someone else's life, not your ego. For the viewer, especially if you're Capricorn, have you been doubting your path, feeling like your growth is too slow, your loyalty is underappreciated, your solitude misunderstood? Let me tell you the truth hidden in the heavens. Your timeline is divine, your process is sacred, and your spirit is chosen. Not because you shout the loudest, but because you can be trusted with silence, pressure, and power. Capricorn, you are the architect of destiny, the keeper of ancient blueprints, the guardian of sacred truth in a world built on noise. And to those who have a Capricorn in their life, if you are lucky enough to know one, don't take their silence as indifference. Don't mistake their boundaries as distance. And don't ever assume their calm means they're unaffected. Because behind that stillness is a storm of loyalty, vision, strategy, and soul. Capricorns don't ask for much, but they give everything when it's right. And if you betray that, you don't just lose a person, you lose a divine presence in your life. Final lesson for everyone. Whether you are Capricorn, love a Capricorn, or simply want to embody this energy, take these 12 secrets and ask yourself, what am I building that will outlive applause? Who am I becoming in silence? Can I carry what God gave me without needing to be seen? Because that is the Capricorn way. Zodiac secrets revealed style. If this message spoke to you, if you've ever felt like your wisdom was unrecognized, if your journey has been slow, quiet, but relentlessly real, then this is your sign. You are not behind, you are not forgotten, you are chosen. Hit that subscribe button. Join this sacred space where your zodiac truths are not just heard, they are honored. Because here at Zodiac Secrets Revealed, we don't chase the stars, we translate their secrets. And Capricorn, you just unlocked 12 of the most powerful ones. Your next chapter? It's already written in the heavens. Let's walk it with purpose.